Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. Today's guest is Steve Judge, an award-winning motivational speaker, author, coach, and workshop facilitator who shares his journey from wheelchair to world champion and beyond. This sounds truly inspiring, and I can't wait to hear more. So welcome, Steve, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Lovely to meet you face to face. We're obviously connected on social media, on LinkedIn, and I think there's a lot of synergy between our profiles, and then you've invited me on, and I'm looking forward to talking about my journey, but I think I really want to get the message across to your listeners about entrepreneurship and various other things. Let's see where this conversation goes and how we can help your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. But first off, Steve, what happened that put you in a wheelchair? Let's hear the story. What's your story?
The elephant in the room, isn't it? Let's get this over and done with, and we can just move on.
Get it over with.
So 2002, I had a near fatal car accident and I got both my legs crushed. I was rushed to hospital. I struggled to save they struggled to save my life. They saved my life. They saved my legs, but I was told that I may never walk again. And that's where the catalyst really starts, the goal setting, which is what I did. And that was through survival, through rehabilitation, lots of physio. I had to grow my leg back by 4 inches. I had to learn how to stand again. I had to learn how to walk again. And that took about 2.5 years to get to that stage. Setting goals, working towards them, pushing myself through the pain and everything, because I really wanted to stand and walk. I got there, and then I was very much about, so now what do I do? And it's interesting that throughout that process, I'd never said that the accident had ruined my life. I just said it had changed my life, because that gave me the option of changed for the better or for the worse. That's my decision. That's my choice. And where I think throughout life, you've got a lot of choices. Black or white, high or low, you can make those choices and those decisions. So how had it changed my life? That was up to me. So I was going to make sure it hadn't had a detrimental effect on my life. So now that I've got to that stage, I had disability in both my legs, but it wasn't going to stop me physically. So I was thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. So I could swim, I could get onto a bike. I was looking for new challenges, and eventually found the sport of power triathlon, swimming, cycling and running for disabled athletes. So I started competing in that and entered competitions, eventually entered the British Championships in my category as a disabled athlete, and I won in the swim, the bike, the run. So crossed the finish line with gold medal. And there came an opportunity of representing my country, Great Britain, further in power triathlon, which I grabbed with both hands, and again set goals to work towards them. To become British champion, European champion, and eventually 2 times world champion, 2011, 2012. So I retired from that after about 4 years. And it was a decision. So now what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this? And I really I still had this frustration of the accident and everything that had done to me, and how I was going to make it into a good thing. So I wanted to share my story and inspire other people. So that's what I do now as a motivational speaker, traveling the world, sharing my story for the main reason as a catalyst for change, so that I empower people to achieve the life that they want to live. I don't want anybody to go through what I've been through, but I want them to get the messages and my learnings from that, so that they can go forward and achieve. And if that is in their personal life, their fitness, their health, then that's fine. But maybe it's in their professional life, in their career, their business, their entrepreneurship, whatever it is, I will help them to achieve through sharing my story, but mainly through the messages that I've learned and the takeaways so that they can go forward and achieve. And that brings us here to this podcast pretty much because this is an opportunity for me to once again share my inspiration and share my story to help other people. I'm always asking myself, what more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? So connecting with you and grabbing this opportunity is ticking a list off. This is another thing that I can do. So again, thank you for helping on my journey.
Absolutely. And this is such an inspiring story. So thank you so much for sharing. And it really resonates with me because I'm a cancer survivor myself. So I know what it's like to be like really down at rock bottom and you can't really do anything. You can just lie in bed. You can't do anything. And you have those goals, or you set those goals, and then you work towards achieving them. And I remember that there was a time during my illness when I couldn't even walk one flight of stairs. Like there was a staircase in the house and I couldn't even walk this staircase up without pausing. And then later on, like just a few years ago, I ran an ultra marathon. So it was like this journey. And I often feel that people like you and I who have those traumatic experiences, we tend to overcompensate. If that makes sense. It sounds like we do, right?
There's a quote, let me see if I can get it right. You have two lives. Your second one begins when you realize you only have one. And it's that wake up call. It's like when something bad happens to you and you survive, you go, whoa, that was close. I really need to start living my life a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And it is that catalyst of change of what is that thing that makes that happen, whether it's surviving cancer, whether it's surviving a car accident, but hopefully it's hearing a podcast like this. It's hearing people's stories like ours so that they don't have to go through anything really bad. They can learn through other people's stories. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I always wonder. I mean, inspiration is great, but how much do you think people really have to go through those dark experiences to really feel it in their bones? Do you think we can inspire them enough, or do they still have to have those experiences?
Both. So if you have those, right? Just sitting on the fence. If you do have those experiences, then yes, that does work. But I believe that for me, kind of talking to myself, if I can tell my story in the best way possible as a keynote speaker, with the highs, the lows, the comedy, the humor, the acting, the stage presence, the takeaways, everything, then that does work. I was speaking last week at the Ministry of Defence, and somebody at the end of it, because I was asking for volunteers, what's their goal now? What are they going to achieve? And somebody said, Steve, while you were speaking, he says, I went onto my phone and I've booked myself onto a half marathon next year so that I lose weight and I get back into running. I've done that now. It's booked. Thank you very much, Steve. And that was one person out of 200. Now, I'm not saying that everybody did that, but yes, that shows that by sharing my story, people are so inspired that they take action straight away. And that's really nice. It was a little bit rude that he was using his phone while I was talking. I do admit, but still the result is that he's taken out. And another guy said he was going to lose weight. And there's lots of people. The whole point is I get people to draw a picture of how they see themselves in the future, either next year or 5 years' time. So 200 people there had drawn a picture of what they wanted to be. And I'd like to think that I inspired every single one of those drawings, but I know for a fact definitely one person booked that half marathon. So the answer is yes on that.
Yeah, I really hope that we can inspire some people with this episode. So it would be so nice to hear in the comments, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think, you're absolutely right, because I do my thing and I know it's good and I get standing ovation and off I go. Now, I have the belief that people are taking action and they're bettering their lives. But it is really nice when you get feedback from people, case studies or whatever. I got an email 2 weeks ago now, a random one. He'd heard me speak at a graduation ceremony in York for his daughter, and he was at that time in a wheelchair. And I inspired him so much that he pushed hard on his rehabilitation to go from a wheelchair onto crutches, from crutches onto walking poles. And he sent me photos of him climbing up mountains with his family. And that was just a random email. And again, it was so nice to get that feedback, to get that case study, to inspire people like that. And it just confirms that I'm doing the right thing, and it keeps me going. Now, I'm not thinking about quitting, but it's nice every now and again just to get that something, that little boost to go, yes, I've got to keep going, got to keep going, because I'm making a difference in people's lives. So yeah, it'd be nice if people can comment on this podcast, on this episode, how they feel, whether they're inspired, but even better, whether they've actually taken action and done something different.
Yeah, for sure. So please, listeners, comment. We want to hear your stories. Now, you've turned things around, but I bet it was really tough in the beginning. And we also want to talk about this journey. So when you were first in the hospital hearing that you might never walk again, what was the first thought that went through your head?
My first thought was, yes, I will walk again.
Okay.
Who the hell do you think you are telling me that I'm not going to walk again? I was very adamant on that. I was quite angry, to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm lying there. I'm just trying to survive, just trying to eat, trying to sip some water. But they, the first thing was they told me that they'd fixed my legs, but there was a possibility that I may never walk again. But I saw that straight away as, so there is a possibility that I might walk again. I know you said I might not, but I see that as a might. And I guess that's a positive mindset. But I also understand that he was a surgeon. He knows what he was talking about. So maybe he's got a point. And it was very much of, I see that as a red rag to a bull, as a gauntlet being laid down, as in, I will prove you wrong. I will show you that I can walk again. Just let me, just get me some energy first. Let me repair myself. Let me survive first. And then I go step by step. And this is not a rocky montage where I leapt out of bed and started walking or anything. It was painful, and it took absolutely ages, and it was very frustrating. And yeah, it was literally just trying to sit up in bed, just trying to eat more food, just trying to breathe. My physio was very much chest orientated, just to help me breathe and survive. Then my goal was to go from the bed onto a wheelchair. That was a goal. And to do that, I had to build up my upper body strength on my arms. Once I got into the wheelchair, I didn't want to be in that wheelchair. I want to be on crutches. And when I got onto those crutches or a Zimmer frame, I wanted to go from 2 crutches down to 1 crutch. Every single time was an incremental change, bit by bit, working towards. So what led me that, what pushed me on that was my frustration, was my anger. And I'm not saying I woke up every morning really angry and like shouting or anything. What I'm saying was that deep down anger, that frustration. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anger is a good thing as long as you can control it in the best way possible. And that's up to you on how you do that. But if you can channel your anger and your frustration into something positive, then that's what I did. For me, at that moment, it was the rehabilitation. Later on, as an elite athlete, it was to win, to grab that gold medal, to push myself, to grab this opportunity. And now my business, my anger, my frustration is still there. Of, why am I not getting these speaking gigs? Why is somebody on that stage and not me? Don't get me wrong, I'm not bitter. I'm a very nice person, but I'm using that as in, well, what more can I do? What else do I need to change my website? Do I need to change my video? Do I need to connect with more people? What is it that I need to do? Why am I not achieving that yet? And what do I need to do? So it's about channeling.
Yeah, for sure. But just thinking about my own recovery, you do have those bad days, right? Where motivation is just low. So what did you find most helpful for cheering you up? And how did you become more resilient through the entire process?
I'm taking myself back there. I don't know if I cheered myself up, guys. I mean, maybe I did at times. I wasn't miserable for the whole time. But I think what kept me motivating. So first of all, when I had those bad days, and yes, as a motivational speaker, I don't often talk about the bad days because that's not very motivating. But I do mention them because it's very important. Authenticity is key. And so, yes, I did have bad days. And what I learned in the end was to accept those bad days and wallow. My good friend Paul talks about hippo days. So it's about wallowing in the mud and just enjoy that moment. And if you need to do that, whether that's back then or now, as a business owner, sometimes, you need to have some time off and you just need to eat a bit of chocolate cake or watch some television or just, crawl back into bed, whatever it is, just do that. But while you're doing that, while you're sulking, and sometimes this is a bigger thing, this could even be depression, so it's not a laughing matter. It's like a very serious thing. But in every situation, do what you need to do just to wallow in that mud. But have a little voice inside your head saying, how long are we doing this for? Is this for the next hour or the next couple? Is this for the whole evening? Or is this for one day or a couple of days? Is this for a week? How long are we going to do this for? Because while we're doing that, nobody else is wallowing in the mud. Nobody else is sulking. Everybody else is moving on, and you're still where you are. And I'm not trying to compare myself to other people, but it's about having a word with myself to say, when are we going to start picking ourselves up and moving on? And it is that about picking yourself up. And when I say picking yourself up, sometimes that's reaching out for help. So when are we going to ask for help? When are we going to put a hand up? When are we going to wave a white flag and say, I need help? Or when are we going to do something ourselves, as in press play on that playlist? Just go and get some fresh air, because we know that works. The serotonin, see some greenery. Even if we're sulking while we walk around, eventually we'll stop sulking. Or when we're going to watch a comedy movie or do something that we really like doing that would just give us a little bit of, impetus to keep going forward. So yeah, it is about accepting those low periods of time, but also thinking how long and what's next, how we're going to bring ourselves out of it. And sometimes it is leaning forward. I learned this a couple of years ago. Leaning forward is, once you start leaning forward, you start moving forward. It's very hard to stop yourself. And so sometimes leaning forward when you're in a low state might be just getting your phone. We've all got a phone on us, and just messaging somebody and just saying hi, or how's things, or can you talk? 3 words. It doesn't take much. You're not trying to have a conversation, but they undoubtedly will message you back. And then now you're leaning forward, and now you're moving forward, and now you can get some help and have a chat to them. So yeah, there's things that you can still do while you're having that low period.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that self-awareness and the strategies to understand what is helping you get out of that bad mood again. So whether it's something nice to eat or exercising or calling a friend, as you said. So maybe even have a list ready that you can just consult whenever you have something like that bad day where you're like, okay, I could do this or that, and I know that I will feel better afterwards, so that you do not get into this downward spiral and just, where one bad day follows the next bad day and it just goes on for a while. So you have to go step by step and climb out of that deep, dark hole again.
Yeah, you do. I think generally most people know what the answer is. We know that chocolate cake is not the answer. I know it's a good start.
Sometimes it is.
Nice. But actually, a healthy meal or some fresh air, go some exercises. Exercise is so hard to do when you're not feeling like it. So maybe not do that the first day, but the second day, walk. Third day, go for a run. Fourth day, do something more. But just do it, small steps. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. Now, you developed your GOLD framework, with GOLD standing for goal, opportunity, love, and dream. Can you explain that framework for people who are not familiar with that?
Absolutely. So I very much talk about, because a lot of people ask me, how do I achieve? How do I achieve, in business and personal life? And I say, what is your GOLD? And the GOLD is an acronym for what is your goal, your opportunity, your love, your dream. What is that thing? What is that thing that you really want? What is that thing that will get you out of bed at 5:30 in the morning like a grasshopper running around like Billy Whiz? What is that thing that you're passionate about? What is that thing that when you think about it, you get a little bit excited? But maybe what is that thing that you are actually embarrassed to share with other people because it's a crazy idea, but actually it's the thing that you really want? That is your GOLD. And once you know what your GOLD is, then you can start working towards it. And GOLD, like I said, personal, professional, it could be becoming a millionaire. It could be helping more people. It could be doing voluntary work. It could be getting fitter or healthier. It could be achieving something like a race or an event. It could be a car, new watch, jewelry, dress, going out, holidays, retirement. It could be anything. But when you think about it, you can feel it. Your gut knows that that's the thing that you need to do. So once you know what your GOLD is, That's the first step. The next thing is the 5 strategies. And these are 5 strategies that I talk about on the stage. This is what I wrote my second book about. And I would say they're the 5 strategies that will get you there, get you to achieve your goal. Would you like to go through what those are, Claudia?
Yes, please, of course. Don't leave it hanging.
I'll go do it as quick as possible, otherwise I'll take the whole podcast up, just me talking about them. Okay, 5 strategies. First one is your golden vision. So start thinking about what that thing is. And what I would suggest is you draw a picture of it, like a stick people, just, where you are, but more importantly, where you want to be in 5 years' time. You're happy. So what makes you happy? What are you doing? Who's with you? Like I said, holiday car, fitter, stronger, 6-pack, whatever. Draw a little picture of it, and that's your golden vision. Stick that on the vision board. The next one is your golden soul, which is your why. So why do you want that thing so much? What will it give you? What will it take away from you? Why? You need to know why you want it, because there's going to be times that I just mentioned when you're feeling a little bit low and you're thinking, why on earth did I start this journey? And you go back to, yes, I remember why, and I've written and I have these questions that can help you to work out your why. The third one is your golden soul, golden gear. So golden gear is all the stuff that you need to do to achieve it. So it's a little bit like a mind map, an overload of all the ideas. Write those things down in order. What do I need to do? And like I said earlier in this podcast, 1 question 3 times: what more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? When I was going through my rehabilitation, I had 21 different physio exercises, and I was still asking, what more do I need to do so I can stand again, so I can walk again? When I got to the start line, representing my country in the World Championships, I didn't have any regrets on that line. I had done everything leading up to that: my nutrition, my mindset, my training, my equipment check, everything, because I was constantly asking myself, what more can I do? So that when I got to the start line, no regrets. And in my business, I'm always constantly saying, what more can I do? And it's lovely running a business because you can be very creative, but it's also a bit overloading because you keep coming up with ideas. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And think, oh, there's only 24 hours. Like, be careful not to overload yourself. But yes, your golden gear. The next one is your golden gang. Now, your golden gang is so important because I always had a golden gang throughout my journey. In my rehabilitation, I had the amazing NHS of the UK. I had my friends, my family, physios, surgeons, doctors, nurses. Everybody helped me as an elite athlete. The amount of practitioners I had to help me cross that finish line to grab that gold medal. And now my business, much as I'm the only one here in the podcast, there's a lot of people that I've asked for help. I don't employ them. I'm on my own, but I have a graphic designer, I have an accountant, I have a stylist, I have a business coach, I have a website person, I have so many people, I have a mastermind group that I can ask questions. They are helping me. So what I put it out to is the people listening to this podcast is, first of all, think about who's in your golden gang now. And that might be your friends, your family, it might be your business colleagues, or even your entrepreneur friends. But then start thinking about who do you need in your golden gang that will take you up to that next level, because the people you've got, they're great, but that's why you are where you are. So if you want to go up a level and achieve and succeed, you might need somebody else in your golden gang. Who could that be? And think about who you want. If you could have anybody, like a magic wand, who would you like? And then maybe you'll start seeing them, and it's not coincidence, it's opportunities. Maybe you'll find them on LinkedIn. Maybe it's you, Claudia. Maybe it's me that needs to be in their golden gang. Maybe they need to get in contact with us. So that's your golden gang. So think about that. The last one is your golden hour. Golden hour is very much having a deadline. And I hate deadlines, but they work. So you've got to put a deadline in and be extravagant with it. If next year sounds a bit too close, say 2 years' time, say 5 years' time, but put a line in the sand, benchmark where you are now and think, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And that's where you're going to be. And then think, right, so I'm going to be there in 5 years' time. That's loads of time. Where do I need to be in 4 years' time to make that happen? Where do I need to be in 3 years, 2 years? Where do I need to be at the end of this year to make that 5-year plan? And then you can say, so where do I need to be at the end of this month, this week, this day? Where do I need to be at the end of this hour? What action do I need to take this hour to start working towards that 5-year plan? And so that's the 5 winning strategies that will unlock the power of the potential of your listeners and anybody who wants to achieve.
Yeah, I love it. Have that big vision and then break it down into actionable steps. Put a timeline on it. Love it. How do you personally define your next golden goal? So one that's big enough to scare you a little, but also aligned enough to sustain you.
How do I do it?
Yeah. What's your big golden goal?
I've got lots of projects on the go. So I started off with 3 at the beginning of the year, and it's expanded. So my big goal that's scary that I probably don't talk about too much is so I've written a book, my autobiography, my other book, I've got them here. So my autobiography, Don't Lean on Your Excuses, great quote. My second book, Gold, is more of a business book, but they are like a script for a film. So this is the next big goal, is a feature-length film of my journey, and I'm already on it. So I've been in connections with a film company, and what we're going to do first is a short film of 15 minutes. So this 15-minute film, we're raising money at the moment, and that's a barrier, that's a hurdle, that's really annoying. But once we've raised enough money, then we can make this happen. We've got a script already. And what I'm going to do is this 15-minute film I'm going to share. It's going to be very related to scouting as well, because I'm involved in scouting. I'm a scout leader. I'm also the ambassador of Derbyshire Scouts. So the point is there's 50 million scouts around the world. So I'm going to share this 15-minute film, this inspiring, humorous, but poignant film with the 50 million scouts, put it on YouTube or something, and share that inspiration around. So that is the next big goal.
Exciting. What emotion do you most want people to feel when they watch it?
Probably what I've talked about already. I want them to be empowered to achieve the life that they want to live, whatever that is. I want them to start thinking about what do they want. If they could achieve anything, I want them to think about what that is and then feel empowered to actually get up, take action, and do it.
Can't wait to see that film, to watch it. Let me know when it's out there.
I will. Don't you worry. Honestly, when it's out there, I will shout very loud. And I think what's really nice is it starts the ball rolling. We talked about it earlier about small steps. This is a 15-minute film. It's still a big project. But from that, then we can send it off to Hollywood, to Netflix, to Amazon Prime. They will love it. They will say, this needs to be a feature-length film. And I say, yes, it does need to be a feature-length film. Let's make it happen. So it's just step by step. So watch this space.
Okay, sure, will do. Now let's talk about happiness, because that is something that pretty much everyone out there is chasing. So how do we all live a happier life? And I personally believe that happiness is partly a choice or mindset. It's partly a skill to cultivate, and it's also partly a byproduct of living a life in alignment. What are your thoughts on happiness and how to achieve it?
Oh, it's a big question, isn't it? It's like the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life to you? So happiness. So there's 2 types of happiness. There's eudaimonic and hedonic. And hedonic is a very quick fix, dopamine release, like playing the lottery and stuff like that. And we've mentioned chocolate cake already, but things like that. Where eudaimonic is more, it takes longer, it takes time, you have to invest. And from what I've read and what I understand is a balance between both of them. You've got to do a bit of both. And sometimes depending on what you're going through as to what you need to do. But for me, what brings out happiness, what helps me to be more happy is it just comes down to having no regrets. So at the end of the day, I have a certain routine that I go through. I won't go through the whole thing, but one of the questions is, how did it go today, Steve? Was it good? Did you get some work done? Did you get some fresh air done? Any regrets? And I go, no, it was a good day. But sometimes I'll say, do you know what? I was on the computer. I went onto social media. I went down a rabbit hole. 10 minutes later, I wasted a bit of time. I regret that. And, I was working so hard. It started raining. I didn't go outside. So I haven't been outside at all today. I regret that. That's not good. And so the question to myself is, okay, well, that's, things happen, but let's make sure that we never do that again. What can we do what can we put in place so that tomorrow You don't get sucked into social media. You do go outside. What can we prioritize? So you do drink more water. So you eat healthily. So you do phone your mum or your friends. What can we do? So the question always comes at the end of the day, how did the day go, Steve? And the best days are when I say no regrets. I said, it's been a great day. I got up early. I did loads of work. I got some fresh air, did some exercise. I made those phone calls. I ate healthily. I had an early night. Look at me. I'm in bed. It's 9 o'clock. Today's been a good day. No regrets. And that to me makes me happy. So I would suggest, asking yourself whether you've got regrets or no regrets. That's the answer. Because I love this quote, and it's a bigger quote, and that is, hell on earth is getting to the end of your days and meeting the person that you could have become. And a lot of people agree with that quote. They say, yes, I will get to the end of my days, and I probably will have regrets that I didn't spend time with my loved ones, with family. I will have regrets that I didn't travel the world or the places that I go to. I will have regrets. And I go, right, okay, that's very honest of you, but that's crazy, because you're not there yet and you're already planning to have regrets. So you're planning to have regrets. That doesn't make sense. So what can you do now to make sure that you have no regrets? Now, I'm not saying you're going to achieve all of those things, but it's not about achieving those things. It's about working towards them and not having regrets. We can't do everything in life. There is only 24 hours in the day, and it's very annoying. So you get to the end of the day, you think, oh, no, I didn't achieve anything, but I've got no regrets because I've done as much as I could possibly. I haven't wasted any time. So what do you need to do every day, week, month, year, so that at the end of your life, the end of your days, you go, do you know what? It's been a bit of a rush. I've not achieved everything, but oh my gosh, no regrets. I've achieved so much. And that's happiness.
Yeah, I really like that. And from talking to you, it sounds like you are a systems guy. It sounds like you have a system for everything and for making sure you don't have regrets or anything. So I'm curious, what success habits have you developed over time that really make sure that you stay happy, healthy, and productive? And what does a typical day in your life look like?
Okay. I go on what I'm doing at the moment, what's working for me at the moment. I'm just looking around. I do have, you said a systems guy.
Yeah.
So clipboard is a systems guy. So I've got a clipboard and I have a list of things I do. I'm an engineer. I used to work down the coal pit, so I am an engineer. So maybe that's where I get it from. But I also know what I'm not good at. And it's about knowing your skills, knowing your limits. So I have an accountability partner. I've got two, actually.
Awesome.
My best friend and somebody from my mastermind group. And every Monday morning, I take a photo of that sheet and I send it to them and say, this is how it's going. And they do the same to me. They've got a sheet as well that they've created. They don't have to do a sheet. They can just type in or whatever. But we just say, how's the last week gone? Now, I don't delve into their life too much. I don't go through it and say, oh, this was good. You need to do better. I don't say anything of that. I just say, thanks for sending the sheet. And it's the same for them, their accountability. So we've got to make sure you don't step on people's toes. But that sheet helps me in the morning and the evening. In the morning, I do stretches. I do exercises. I do some press up, sit up. I do my visualization. I do my meditation. I do my words of affirmation. That helps me to get going in the day, thinking about what I want to do, business orientated. At the end of the day, it's a couple of things. So three things that I'm going to do the next day, and then get it out of my head so I can sleep well. Three things that I've done well today, pat on the back, what's been good. Three things that I'm grateful for: the roof over my head, food in my fridge, the car that works, a cute little cat, all those things. But three things that I can't repeat these things. And then I write down the time. I do a little bit of meditation, not much because I'm usually tired. Hopefully I've done some reading in the day. That's a tick. And then I go off to sleep. So it's a lovely end to the day and a lovely beginning of the day. I call it my sunrise, my golden sunrise, and my golden sunset routine. And what I want to stress on all of this, because it sounds amazing, doesn't it, is that I'm not perfect. There are sometimes I get to bed, I'm going, I am so tired. I can't be bothered with it. There's other times when I might have drunk a few drinks and I think, I can't be bothered. I might do it in the morning. There might be times in the morning when I go straight into work and I don't do my stretches and I don't do my meditation. But what I will say is that I would say I'm 80% rather than 100%. So yeah, I'm not 100% every single day, and that's fine. But I'm also not 60% or 40%. I'm about an 80%, and that's good. because I don't think, anybody can be perfect. And I think it's about being open and honest and being accountable. And so sometimes I do say to myself, must be a bit better, having a word with myself, but it's not the end of the world. And so it's about not being too harsh on yourself on these structures and these systems. As long as you're generally an 80%, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think the 80-20 rule applies here as well. So if you're aiming for 100 and, well, maybe you're just at 80, you're still pretty awesome.
That'll do, yeah.
Now, it sounds like you and me, we are both very structured people and we thrive on routines and systems. But there are people out there who like to wing it. Do you think, what can those people do if they feel like too much of a structure kind of constrains them and they feel like that's not working for them? What would you suggest that someone like that could do?
I don't know. I don't understand those people. They're crazy people. So it's very difficult. And I accept that everybody's different. And it's really hard to accept that everybody's different, especially when they're different for you, because this works for me. It's kind of, if it's working for them, then that's fine. I don't get it, and they probably don't get the clipboard and the systems thing. And if you're getting the results that you're getting, then just keep doing what you're doing. However, if you're not getting the results and you get frustrated and you want to change, just try something different. Try writing stuff down, try journaling, try meditation, try anything, try accountability partner. There's so many books out there, there's so many podcasts, there's so many YouTube, there's so many things to suggest on what you could do. Just try them. So again, I said my story is very much into scouting. Scouting is a big part of my life. Do you know my first 3 badges that I ever got were swimming, cycling and running, and I became a world champion in swimming, cycling and running. So scouting really figures in a lot with my life. But the badges that you get down in scouting or guiding or browns or anything like that, they are things that you've tried, and you're not necessarily good at all these badges, but you've tried the badges and you can see that. It's the same with life. There's so many things out there that you can try, and some you won't be good at, I'm afraid, and some you'll be amazing at, but you'll never know unless you try. So try them, give it a go, and see what works and see what doesn't work. And it all depends on the results. If you're getting good results, keep doing that. If you're not getting good results, you need to change something. I don't know what can I say?
Yeah, just keep testing until you find something that works. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today?
No, I think we've covered an awful lot. I think, if I think about my quotes that I talk about the main quote I talk about is don't lean on your excuses. It's a big one. It does sound quite harsh in a way. It's quite a negative thing. But I do think that a lot of people do lean on excuses. Mm-hmm. They are barriers, they are hurdles. And why that's my quote that I use is because that's my frustration as well. That's why I do what I do. And it frustrates me when I meet people that are all talk. They're talking about things that they're going to do. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run a business. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to write a book and stuff like that. But they're not doing anything because they go, oh, yeah, I'd like to, but I haven't got enough time. I haven't got enough money. I don't really know how to do it. People say they don't know how to do it. That's so out the way now, because you can ask AI, you can ask Google, you can ask anybody on social media. There's stuff on YouTube. That's not an excuse. And a lot of people lean on excuses. I used the example earlier, people say, I'm going to go for a run today, and then it starts raining. Oh, I can't go for a run today. You can still go for a run. You can put a coat on and go for a run. The rain is an excuse. So the point is, if you don't want to go for a run, just say that you don't want to go for a run, and that's it. Don't use the excuses. If you don't want to be a millionaire, then that's fine. If you don't want to write a book, that's fine. But you keep saying that you do, and then you keep coming up with excuses. So my point is, don't lean on excuses. Turn your excuses into challenges. And if you do that, I believe that you can achieve so many things. And if you do that, you'll have no regrets. And that's the main thing. And that's the main thing you need to do to achieve your goals, your opportunity, your love, and your dream.
I agree. You can either find excuses or you can find a way.
That is so true. Well said, Claudia.
Awesome. So where can our listeners find you online if they would like to learn more about you or connect with you?
Oh, honestly, it's not hard. I'm everywhere. I'm like a rash. Not in a bad way. So social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think I'm even on TikTok, but I don't really go on that much. Did I say Twitter? I meant X. So old school, aren't I? Website is www.steve-judge.co.uk. And I'm sure you can put something in the notes, Claudia, on this podcast as well. And reach out, if you want to have a chat, you want to ask questions, I want to help people. That's my drive at the moment. Maybe we'll end up being members of the Golden Gang and we can help each other out at some point as well.
Yeah, I'd love that. Steve, thank you so much for talking and for inspiring us today. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, me too. It's been great. Thank you very much.
So keep up the great work. Take care and talk soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show or share it with a friend. That way you can support the show and help me reach and support other entrepreneurs like yourself as well. If you would like my help to figure out how you can go from overwhelmed and overworked hustler to empowered and confident leader, check out my website at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions and book a free 20-minute strategy session with me. Can't wait to help you get wired for success. Until next time, take care. Bye.